Nathan, it's lovely to see you with a smile on your face after a victory.
Look, it's tough sometimes, to put the smile on your face when you get defeat, because it hurts, it really does hurt. But after Saturday, I watched and I was a bit baffled why we didn't pick up 3 points. And it was important we got the win in midweek, and it's not just so we could smile again, but it's, to see some some end result for the work that we're doing, because I feel we're in a real good place. Yeah, the QPR game was a real anticlimax for the lead into it, but Charlton we were good. I thought we were good. A bit naive at times and weren't clinical, but all-round performance out. If we play like that week in, week out, then we won't have a problem. And then I was very happy with midweek because I thought we were excellent. We dominated the game, created significant amount of chances, and we're lucky enough to take one more than the opposition.
And looking forward to Saturday's game, we always know Midlands derbies are tough. This one will be especially tough because of the history between the two clubs in the last couple of seasons. But how are we injury-wise? How's Nick Powell, for example?
Nick's the only one that's a bit of a doubt. To be fair, it's taken a little bit longer. With the calf injuries, you can't really, as I know myself actually, they take a little bit longer than normal or can do, and you've got to be careful with them. But Nick's the only one. Everyone else, and everyone got good minutes midweek, so we're at a real good level in terms of the whole squad. Peter Table as well, is right up to speed as well. So look, there's a lot of positives there.
Looking at Peter Ativo and the players that played midweek, you had 3 really good centre-half partnerships there. Is it going to be difficult for you to pick the team tomorrow, or do you really know who's going to play?
Look, I know who's going to play because obviously the work we do, but the bench is tough. Never mind picking an 11, picking the bench is tough, with what we have available, and we've got obviously 1 or 2 to come into that. So once we have 1 or 2 to come into that as well, it's especially tough. But those are the headaches you want, and especially when everyone's at a good level. And look, it's a conundrum is because we haven't got the results we felt we deserved. So you can, do you change it? Do you persevere? Those are the questions you do. Do you mix it up? Do you freshen it up? So we've got all these sort of conundrums to look at, but thankfully we've got the personnel that can answer those questions.
Looking at the players after the game, and there was a bit of banter about who actually got the goal. Collins and Sam were having a bit of a discussion about that. It's clear that the atmosphere is what you would appear to want now. Everybody seems to be fighting together, and it looks like a much happier place.
Oh, it is. I mean, it's chalk and cheese from what it was when I first came into it, and that's a knock-on effect from a lot of things, and so on. The atmosphere is much better. The team spirit is much better. The way the work ethic is the humility around the squad is much better. All we have to do now is make sure that the points that are adding up, because that's the only thing. And sadly, that's the thing that really is the focus. Because if points didn't matter, then I'd be a wonderful manager at the minute because of what we've done. But sadly, that's not the case. So look, we know we have to do that, but the environment's better. It's much more professional, much more. And again, when I say professional, I don't mean. It's much more conducive to how we want to work, not speaking bad of anyone else prior to me or anything. It's just literally we have to rubber stamp this now with points.
And Collins played really, really well. There's a 2 schools of thought about a young player. People say that if they play too much in the early stages, that mentally they can break as well as physically. But he seems to be incredibly mature for such a young player and has a great future ahead of him.
Look, God willing, he has a great future ahead of him. If you manage him right, he keeps his feet on the ground, he keeps wanting to learn, and then his development is as good in the next 18 years as it's been in the first 18 years, then look, he's going to have a fantastic career. But look, you have to manage young players because differently to more experienced ones. But at times, you just got to let them free because they play with the freedom, they have that energy about them, they have that desire, they have no preconceptions about anything, they're hungry. So look, it's a great position to be in. He's a mature young man, to be honest with you, but we've got a few of those. Tom Edwards is exactly the same, gets on with his work, does it, not fazed by too much. And those are the younger players we want. Tiva Verlinden has shown that. But you have to forget, the thing as well, people like Liam Lindsay are still young. Still young players, and we've got a good blend. So look, we're very happy with Nathan, but it's a long way for him to go yet.
And on to the game against Darby. You always do your homework and you always prepare for every club. What are your expectations from the new manager and his fairly new side?
Yeah, look, it'll be a tough game. They try to be a fluent side in how they go about their work. They've had two positive results if you class a draw at home as a positive result, because it means that they started with a win at Huddersfield, which was a difficult place to go, but it was a good game of football. I watched the game. And then obviously they've played Swansea, which is a tough game as well, and drawn it. They did miss a pen. So look, they're a good side, but next week we'll be saying exactly the same thing about two teams. And the week after that we will be about Birmingham and Forest and Bristol City and wherever we play, because the Championship's that way. But it'll be a tough test. But we're at home with Stoke City, and we have to make sure that we start hammering that message home. And the atmosphere should be really, really good, and our players will hopefully feed off a positive atmosphere tomorrow. Yeah, look, and what we tried to do is try to get the fans. We understand that we have to produce certain things for the fans to get right behind us and to produce that noise. So we're going to try and do that. And I think we did that at the last home game. It's just something construed against us around about 9 minutes that sort of flattened the place a little bit. But we have to make sure we come through those setbacks, both as players, as a squad, as a management team, and also as a club and as a crowd. We have to, because we still should have got something out of that game. Now, if the atmosphere is positive for 95 minutes, then the performance will be as well, because they are a team. And as you've seen, I think we kept going right till the end against QPR. We were comfortably better than Charlton. I thought we were excellent in midweek, and a real high energy attacking performance. We created in excess of 20 chances. Yeah, we only scored one, but that's come in because that's just a final touch. And I watch some games, and some teams are creating 3s and 4 chances and scores in 2s and 3s. Well, at the minute we're creating 10s and 11s and 12s and 20s. So they will come if we just keep believing. Like that film, if you build it, they will come, and that's what I'm saying. It's quite surprising how many times we've already hit the post and the crossbar this season. So as you say, the luck will change. But when you're looking towards this week, we've got another busy week. We're going to in fact play a lot of games this month. Do you prepare for the match against Darby with the following match in mind, or are they completely different? No, they're completely different, and you have to take everything on its merits. You really do. We kind of know how we're going to go about certain things, because certain teams play a certain way and so on and so forth. But no, you have to take it this game, because a lot can happen. You might have to adjust after this game. We went into the final game of pre-season well oiled, and obviously you had to adjust after that game. So all the best laid plans at times, you have to be flexible, and you have to sort of be ready to change. But look, we're focusing totally on Derby and trying to get a positive result against Derby, and then we'll dust ourselves off Saturday night, Sunday, and then go again for a massive game away. Will you be really happy when the European transfer window closes? Because yet again there are discussions about Jack Butland leaving the club. Yeah, but as long as it doesn't affect Jack Butland, it doesn't affect us. We know what position we're in, and I have stated before that for a European window to close 3 weeks after ours is lunacy for me. Lunacy, because all it does is leave certain clubs open, or players can turn certain minds and with focuses and so on. So to give a European clubs an advantage over ours, for me, is lunacy. But I think ours to shut when it does is the right thing to do. But I think the best thing would be for Europe to fall in line with ours, and if that, Europe would probably think, well, hang on, you lot are lunatics for closing it as early as you are. So look, something has to change, because otherwise it just gives European clubs an advantage over others, and it can definitely sway people. Thank you.
You made 8 changes against Wigan. But what did the game tell you about the quality of your squad, the depth of your squad?
Pretty much what I already knew. I know we've got a real competitive squad. If you look at I made 8 changes, and to be honest with you, because of personnel, I could have made more. I could have brought Tyrese Campbell in, which would have meant another change as well, because I should have. But certain people needed games, in terms of Carlton Vickers needed a game. Liam Lindsay, I felt, needed a bit of rhythm. Tom Edwards, a bit of rhythm, and so on. And then Macker, obviously, because of what happened on the weekend. So it just shows we have a strong squad, but it's what we wanted to achieve, that at any given time we can change a certain position, 2, maybe 3, and it not weaken anything. Not weaken, because we have real good quality in all positions, and we showed that. Plus, there was a youthfulness about our performance the other day. I think that stemmed from a youthful back five at the time that was excellent. And I thought some real good performances. I thought you saw, you know, I don't want to single anyone out, but I thought Jordan Cousins was excellent in that role, showed real energy and so on. I thought our back five defended superbly well. Ryan Woods was instrumental again. You know, and I thought we had a real cutting edge about us, and you need a strong squad. So when you go into these games, you have a freshness about you that, you know, it's not, you know, a monotonous performance. You have a real freshness to go in and to go after an opposition, and that's what we did.
You talked about before wanting at least 2 players for each position. Do you feel you've got that?
Yeah, 100%. You know, and we only want 2. If you have 3 in certain positions, then a lot of people are going to be disappointed. I think you need that competition, and that has to be realistic competition, so that people feel they have a chance, or they have a realistic chance of playing week in, week out. As long as they do their work, as long as they work hard in training, as long as they grasp chances when they get them, then they will play. If you have 26, 27 players, that's not the case, because you're always going to have 8 that are going to be bitterly disappointed every week, who are further away from the 11 because of the bench and so on. So it's important that we keep those numbers.
Just finally, a quick one. At the club dinner, the work was highlighted about the Stoke City women's team. They get their season underway on Sunday. It's free admission as well. Hopefully, a big crowd. Be a message, a good luck message for them for the campaign.
Look, they're part and parcel of Stoke City. So you look at as much as we want to win games. We also want, you know, teams within our club to win as well. So, you know, we've got under 23s. We've got a game today. We wish those the best of luck. 18s tomorrow, and then the women is just an extension of the first team. So we wish them all the best. You know, obviously, I was lucky enough to meet the manager and the captain, and they were really driven people, and we wish them all the best. But as you said, they come under our banner, so we're very proud of our women's team here, and we hope that they feel exactly the same about us as we do about them.
Hopefully there can be a feel-good factor from the World Cup with England, of course, involved in that.
Well, yeah, look, I think women's football's on the rise. You know, I remember I started a coaching career, if you like, as with the Oval Town women, and they're wonderful people to coach, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way. They're very, very open-minded. They listen. They come there with no preconceptions. They want to work. They want to get better. I think there's a hunger there with women's football, because they always feel they've got a point to prove, which is really, really, you know, motivational for them. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time with doing that, and it was a very rewarding for me, and hopefully for them. So yeah, the feel-good factor after the World Cup. Hopefully we can be part and parcel of that. Cheers.
Cheers.